you need to announce for her at your rehearsal dinner.
This right here is effing diabolical. Takes the wind right out of her sails and foils any planned sabotage. Brilliant.
Another story begins.
AITA for allowing my dad to give any of my late mom's jewelry to his fiancée or their daughters. My mom died when I, 26F, was 12. When I was 15, my dad gave me all her things after an overeager ex of his tried to take some of mom's stuff for herself, which resulted in me yelling at the woman and her trying to slap me for disrespecting her and dad breaking up with her. It wasn't the first time someone had shown an interest in some of it. His sister wanted a pearl pendant that belonged to mom, and she even tried to steal it. Dad told me that mom wanted her things to go to me, so he was respecting her wishes. After he gave it all to me, I packed it up and sent it to my grandparents for safekeeping. My dad met his fiancée when I was 17. The two of us did not connect, and I moved out when I turned 18, which is when they started having children. Now they have 5 together, and they're due to get married in February 2026. He has 2 daughters, 7 and 6, with his fiancée, and he told me recently he wanted to give the 3 of them a gift from mom's collection of jewelry. He wants his fiancée to have mom's Claddagh ring that she got in her teens. He wants the necklace he bought mom for their wedding for the oldest of his and his fiancée's 2 daughters, and a bracelet he bought mom for the younger daughter. He told me his fiancée was also in love with a watch my mom owned, and he suggested I could give it to her as a wedding gift since the 2 of us have had a rough time connecting, and he feels like it would make her feel welcome. My answer to all of it was no. I didn't hesitate in saying it or beat around the bush, I was honest. My answer was no. He told me it was the right thing to do, and that it shows we're all one family. I told him, be that as it may, he could buy them jewelry if he wanted, but my mom was not their family, and like he said, she wanted all of her things to go to me. His fiancée asked me what kind of daughter I'm being to her. She's 12 years older than me, uffs, and what kind of sister I was being. She said all of her kids could get something of my mom's stuff, and it would truly make us all feel like a family. Then she brought it back around to her and how she deserved to have the ring that my dad talked about a lot, even more than his or mom's wedding ring. I told her that was too bad for her, and the ring was mine now. Just like all of it belongs to me now. And she and her kids were getting none of it. My dad sent me a long text telling me for his sake, he hopes I reconsider because this is breaking his heart and putting him in a difficult spot. AITA?
So, he said that your mom wanted you to have it all. Why the did you give it up? NTA.
I know. Why the change now all of a sudden? Why not accept mom wanted her child to have everything she left behind? His new kids and his soon-to-be wife were never a part of my mom's life or family. Not that the kids could be, but still.
Is all of it in a safe place where he and or this woman can't get to it?
Yep, I wear the ring, but I never took it off around them either.
He has a person whispering in his ear, that's why.
Exactly. Plus, there is no connection with you and that soon-to-be wife of his. Really sounds like she will try to throw a bigger fit, but keep saying no.
I will. She can have a big enough fit that she explodes on the spot, and I'll still say no.
Another story begins.
AITA for blocking my parents from seeing me graduate high school and ignoring all their attempts to contact me? I, 18 meters, graduated high school last week. I had my grandparents and 2 cousins there who live with me and my uncle and his family. My parents weren't there, and I made sure they couldn't watch the ceremony online either by bringing it to the attention of the teacher in charge of all that stuff. On the day of my graduation, my parents tried to call my grandparents and my uncle to get answers and info on what was happening, but they ignored them. They sent several texts in the days since asking to talk to me, and I won't. I still have them blocked. Yesterday, my uncle said he got a long rant text from my mom, essentially calling me a spoiled brat who showed no gratitude for all they have done for me. So I decided to ask people on Reddit if they agree, and to get the full picture, I'll need to provide some context. I have a half-sister who lost her dad a couple of days before I was born. She's 7 years older than me. Losing her dad really fucked her up mentally, and it made her extremely bitter and resentful and hateful toward me and my existence as a whole. She was abusive the whole time I lived at home. But when I turned 10, it got worse. She talked about mutilating me, about selling me to traffickers, how she wanted to see me dead and other graphic things. She accused me of taking her dad's life all the time. And she used to grab me, scratch me, pinch me, and other things like that. She'd explode with anger around me, and it would come from nowhere. One time, I ran to my room and locked the door and put a chair in front of it so she couldn't get at me. My parents knew what was going on, and they had my half-sister in therapy, but it did nothing, and they didn't do more to protect me than that. They had me keep it from other family, but eventually I told my grandparents, mom's parents, and they reported it to CPS and encouraged me to talk to my school. And when I did, they got CPS involved too. So when I was 11, I was removed from my parents' house and placed with my grandparents. That's where I continued living. My parents tried to talk it all out, but my grandparents protected me from hearing their BS excuses. I know my half-sister always treated my dad like shit too, but he wasn't being threatened like I was or attacked. The whole thing made me hate my parents in a way. My dad more so because he didn't try to leave with me to keep me safe. He could have once it got that bad even. If I could be with my grandparents, why not him? It's not like my half-sister was attached to him or anything. And she was 18 when I got removed. But yeah, that's the context for why I did what I did. And I want to know if that makes me TA.
NTA. You are not obligated to stay attached to toxic people, even if they are of your own family. My dad was an alcoholic, selfish, and a cheater. He was cheating as my mom was dying of cancer. Moved the girlfriend in and took over the house. I had my own by then. I don't miss him at all. If your dad seeks counseling and can mend the relationship, that's helpful. If not, enjoy some serenity. You deserve it. Love.
Dude, holy after reading all that context, you are NTA, not even in the same solar system as the a-hole. My jaw dropped. What you went through with your half-sister was an absolute unrelenting nightmare. The things she said and did to you, that's not just sibling rivalry or some kid being difficult. That was straight up horrific abuse, and it went on for years. For your parents to know that was happening, the threats, the physical stuff, all of it, and their big solution was just therapy for her while you were left to basically fend for yourself in that war zone, that is a catastrophic failure on their part. They failed you spectacularly. Your grandparents sound like absolute heroes for stepping in and getting you out of there. CPS getting involved twice tells you everything you need to know about how bad it was. For your mom to now call you a spoiled brat who showed no gratitude? Gratitude for what, exactly? For being terrorized in your own home while they stood by? For the trauma that they allowed you to endure? That is some Olympic-level delusion and deflection on her part. It's beyond ridiculous. You blocking them from your graduation, from contacting you? That's not being a brat. That's self-preservation. That's you finally having some control over who gets access to you and your life after they showed they couldn't or wouldn't keep you safe. Your feelings of hatred, especially towards your dad for not trying to get you both out sooner if he could have, are completely understandable. They made their choices back then, and your choices now are a direct consequence. You don't owe them your presence at your milestones, and you certainly don't owe them an audience for their mountains of BS excuses. You did what you needed to do to protect your peace and celebrate your achievement with the people who actually showed up for you and kept you safe. Congratulations on graduating, especially after everything you've overcome. You deserved a peaceful celebration, and you made sure you got one. Keep them blocked as long as you need to. You owe them nothing.
Don't forget to subscribe and like. Ooh, more stories coming soon.